We are crime victims. For us, this has never been about politics. It has been about getting justice for the crimes committed against us. And the redactions are not the only problem with Todd Blanche's nomination. Todd Blanche has never attempted to listen to us, the crime victims. Survivors in this room repeatedly asked to meet with Todd Blanche through multiple channels. He never responded. Yesterday, he said he would meet with us, with our attorneys, if they were present. But let's be clear, that was the first time that was ever communicated to us before yesterday. He simply ignored us for the last 8 months.
I cannot believe that survivors have been trying to get a hold of Todd Blanche for 8 months and he won't even return their goddamn phone calls or emails. This is the first time they were ever told, oh yeah, sure, trust me, bro, meet me at any time. And he hasn't. Not one goddamn time. But you know who he has met? Ghislaine Maxwell. That's right. He moved her, a convicted felon sex trafficker, to a minimum security prison where she gets to go on her email and have visitors. And there's been reports that she gets special food on her diet and she's got to meet a puppy. He has treated Ghislaine Maxwell better than the victims of Epstein Island. That's disgusting. You think this guy's going to be impartial? And he's Trump's personal attorney. Oh, by the way, Todd Blanche, he just paid a woman $5.3 million for raping her in a fucking dressing room. But hey, you know, you're all about law and order, right, J.D. Vance? You too, and you fucking Nazi Stephen Miller. That's why I'm pissed off. When he won the second time, I had a family member that was a victim of assault. And when I talked to her on the phone afterwards, she said, how could 77 million people not see sexual assault as a red line? And she was crying with me on the phone. You don't ever forget something like that. It wasn't just E. Jean Carroll. His first ex-wife said he had raped her. 24 women have given specific dates. He was sued by a fucking 13-year-old girl, Katie Johnson, a 13-year-old fucking girl, for raping her along with Jeffrey Epstein. And he won't release the Epstein files. This is where we are as a country. So when I hear people say, well, Paul, you're so angry. You're fucking right, I'm mad and angry. Because this is not about Democrat or Republican. I'm neither. I'm an independent. I think both parties suck. But you went to the voting booth, 77 million of you, because you were so fucking racist and misogynistic and such a morally bankrupt piece of shit that you voted for a fucking rapist. You saw the dead officers and you said, that's my guy. Felonies, that's my guy. Cheats on his wife, that's my guy. Best friends with Epstein, that's my guy. Tax fraud, that's my guy. Stealing from cancer charities, that's my guy. Because he bought into your racism, in your misogyny, in your fucking white Christian nationalism. That's why we're separated. Because you have a fucked up moral compass. Because you don't believe women. These women should not have to go through this. And the reason this happens is because not enough men like me say what I'm saying. Because you're worried about upsetting your mom or your dad or your MAGA brother or your pastor or your coworker. What if it was your mom? What if your mom was E. Jean Carroll? What if your daughter was that 13-year-old Katie Johnson? What if your sister was at Epstein Island and she was molested by Donald Trump or somebody else on that island and he's protecting it? How would you feel? You would be fucking livid. But because it didn't happen to you, you don't give a shit. He promised me cheap gas and lower taxes. Yeehaw! I don't give a shit about rape. It's disgusting. That's why we're divided as a country. It's that simple. It's the lack of morality. And I find it really rich how many of you Pharisees, you fake ass Christians like that piece of shit racist Charlie Kirk and Tammy Faye Baker, Erica Kirk, run around with their fucking crosses talking about, I'm pro-life, I'm pro-life, I'm pro-life. And yet the moment that the baby's born, you don't care if the mom dies from sepsis. You don't care if Trump rapes her. You don't care if Trump molests her on Epstein Island. You don't care if that officer dies on January 6th from the lies that Trump told. You don't care if it gets shot in a fucking school or gets shot in a theater or a parking lot or a shopping mall. You don't care if it dies from lack of food or dies from lack of health care. You're not fucking pro-life. The dude literally bombed and murdered 170 innocent girls in a fucking school in Iran. And you're like, yeah, Trump 28, woo, freedom, freedom. Look at the bald eagles and chicks. I'm a dumbass. You're not fucking pro-life. You're all going to rot in hell one day. Every single one of you, because by your fruits shall you be judged. I cannot believe this is where we are as a country, that we're so morally bankrupt, that survivors of Epstein Island, that the U.S. government that's supposed to look after the people will not release the files because the fucking president is very likely a child molester. Welcome to the greatest country in the world. God bless America.